Hello everyone, my name is MacKenzie and welcome to another episode of Live Code Tuesday where we dive deep into the world of WebAssembly and everything about it. Today I'm really excited to have a special guest on with us. We have Nuno from SUSE. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi Mike, really glad to be here.
All right, I know you've been working on a few interesting demos on SpinKube, which is an open source project for orchestrating spin applications on Kubernetes. And one of those prerequisites is actually having a Kubernetes cluster up and running with all the dependencies. And it sounds like Rancher Desktop has been working on a way to make that a little bit easier on our users to go ahead and get started.
Exactly. Fermyon and SUSE have been working since some time now around Spin and SpinKube nominatively. And since the version 1.13, which was few versions or minor versions ago, Spin was there. So we could run any containerized applications that used Spin as the runtime with containerd. I will get there just in a second. And then SpinKube came in between, and after a few tests, it seemed that it was really like a really nice addition to Rancher Desktop itself, but also like from a broader perspective about the WebAssembly ecosystem to have a tool like Rancher Desktop that allowed maybe SpinKube to be run quite easily was then a focus for the development team of Rancher Desktop. And since the 1.14, which is the version that I will be presenting today, we have an even easier way to actually install SpinKube.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm looking forward to exploring that. And yeah, I don't know if anyone in the audience has gone through and installed SpinKube, but there are certainly a few steps along the way. The goal of the project is to make it easy to run spin applications, but to do that, you need things like an operator, containerd shim that's going to allow the spin runtime to run, runtime class manager, and so yeah, we're going to take a peek and see how Rancher Desktop is going to make that really easy for us in terms of getting started, so you can just focus on your application development and thinking about how everything is going to connect together.
Yeah, exactly. I have no slides. This is a discussion. So whenever you want me to start demoing, I can.
Let's take a look, but first, someone in the audience has a question for us, and that he's curious how many plushies you have in your background.
I actually didn't count. I'm just adding them every time they arrive. So this is a real background, right? So I don't want to touch because everything will like crumble down. So they are on an equilibrium. Like a HA cluster, I would say. So sometimes something falls and then I have to put it back. But anyway, so yeah, it's counting still.
A delicate balance. If there are any guesses in the audience, feel free to throw them out, and maybe if someone's observant, they can count.
Yeah, I'll have to count them myself. So go ahead and take a guess. But I think more than 20 for sure.
Oh my gosh, a cliffhanger. All right, well, while someone's counting, let's go ahead and take a look at what you guys have been up to with Rancher Desktop.
All right, so I'll share my screen. Share screen, and then I will choose the entire screen. It will be easier, and share.
Fingers crossed that StreamYard works. Nice.
And you see my mouse? Fabulous. Okay. So just before we start, this is also a trap. So I'm not on Mac. I have a Mac, but I'm on Linux right now since a few months. I will be quickly introducing that afterwards. But right now, I wanted to start with actually a demo directly, and then come back a little bit on how we could run the demo and how it could be easy today using Rancher Desktop. All right?
Sounds like a good starting place.
So the demo, let me just mention that I'm running currently with Rancher Desktop. We'll just look at that afterwards. But I will just here to create that so that to UI code. And the first time that, like I said, so remember one person just had the binary. So we have to go through all the steps, like I said, adding the manager, adding different sources, and finally deploying the creator, and well, the application. So as I said, and I'm a expert, and sometimes do some dev. There's some echo right now. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. And I have to understand sometimes to how to get the applications to run so I can document them, right? So here, before we run to the sample application, there was quite like the tasks or the steps to follow to finally reach to it. But now with the latest version, then I could do something as copy directly the application here or the manifest, apply it, then it states that it's created. So if I go and get all just like that, maybe it's installing in its own namespace. No, it's not, because I thought, okay, my bad. Okay, you see, live demo. Sorry. So let's start on the preference dialog. Here we go. So I reset it before.
So sorry to hop in, but do you mind zooming in a little bit so we can?
So this one, I'm not sure. Can I? Oh, I can.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
So sorry. So I was resetting and applying things, and as you can see here, I don't have SpinKube actually installed. So again, live demo. So now what I did is like I disabled SpinKube. And while it's doing it, let me explain then the preference. So I wanted to go afterwards, but yeah, anyway, live demo again. So what we added on the 114 or 113 first, we added this one here, this WebAssembly that we could enable. So, and we have spin as the binary already there. So if I just do spin like this, you'll see that I have a spin CLI, which is not the latest that came out today. I saw your blog coming in. Yes. So we just have one below, but one before. So, but it will be updated in the next version. But anyway, so we have to have currently at least Containerd as the container engine, and then the WebAssembly. So once you have that here on the Kubernetes settings, then I will be able to install spin operator, apply, and now what it will be doing, so again, I can now this time go here, it's doing this all for us in just one click. So it's installing the cert manager, it's installing the runtime class, the CRT, and finally it will also install the operator for us, plus the shim executor here. So then,
sorry, just to hop in here, we have some folks joining in and grabbing their coffee. So if someone's just joining in right now, I'd love to give a little bit of context, like why would someone use Rancher Desktop for their SpinKube installation?
Yeah, exactly. So let me see again, and this time, no. Jesus. Okay, I'll step away from Mac. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to go through.
while you're looking at that, Peter, for context, like my understanding is Rancher Desktop is a really nice way of interacting with the containers, and Kubernetes locally provides you a GUI to explore things that you can see Nuno navigating here. Makes setting up Ingress really easy, pushing to container registries, mirroring private registries, and now installing SpinKube. So that's what we're taking a look at today.
Yeah. So let's go the crazy way. I resetted it, and here, so this will be a normal installation of Rancher Desktop. So the first time that we will install it, then you can enable Kubernetes, you can choose your container engine, and then you can ask that it sets it to automatic to your path. On Mac, it's using below technology called Lima and Lima CTL. So it was Linux on Mac. So think I'm a huge fan from Windows for the ones who know me. So think WSL, but on Mac. It was created by Hero Suda from NTT, but people know him about the containerd work and the rootless work also more recently. And then Lima is used actually for Mac and nowadays Linux also. So this allows to have like for the developers kind of a same code base or same let's say target behind the scenes between Mac and Linux, and then the WSL backend for Windows. So here, let me go again to the preferences. And as we can see, I have to enable Wasm again. And then I will be able to enable the SpinKube, and hopefully it will work this time. Otherwise, I will switch fully to Linux. That's okay.
Got to give it a shot. And so these steps are important. We have a blog that's coming out, but if you do want to install SpinKube, following the steps that Nuno just demonstrated of enabling Wasm, making sure you're using the containerd runtime is going to set you up for success there.
Yeah, and again, like what I did now, the factory resets is what you will face the first time that you will run it. So the way it's not installing what I want right now, it's really due to my fault and not has nothing to do with either Rancher Desktop or SpinKube. So here, if I do a kubectl gets everything, so you will see that I don't have anything running right now, either Cert Manager or SpinKube. So hopefully this time, last try, and then we will swap.
Nice.
I'll go to Kubernetes now, and now I will go to the installation of the SpinKube operator.
This is one of the cool things about Rancher Desktop is we're automatically connecting into the existing tools you have, right? Kube control is working as expected. VS Code, you could do some breakpoint debugging. I look at this as just a really nice complement to your existing workflow for visualization and configuring things that you'd want to examine during testing and local development.
Yeah, exactly. So after the years, it's getting a little bit better, of course. Still, if you compare it with, and I will be nominating the others, I don't have any fear about that. So let's say I use them also. So you can take Docker Desktop, Podman Desktop, Colima, for example, if you are on Mac also. But all these other tools, Rancher Desktop, comes really from the Kubernetes world, right? That's what it does well. So you have K3S behind the scenes, you have an ingress, we will see that afterwards, and everything. So for me, it's like every tool does something that are really specific to them. Nowadays, Rancher Desktop fills my needs, but for a long time I was using Docker Desktop because they were paving the way and still are to some extent. So let's say Rancher Desktop is more on really like the Kubernetes side of it. And then if you need to run also Podman Desktop, because right now it's not the only one, but was the only one on ARM also for some time, at least Windows on ARM, you had Podman Desktop only. So Podman is also there, so you can also use it. But today it's concentrating on Rancher Desktop. So finally, everything went well. So let me see first if we see, and we do. Okay, so we see the spin operator here. We see the cert manager. So I could then apply again. And now we see that it's created. Okay, good. Like I said, so everything that is written here from set up your Kubernetes cluster to deploy the spin operator can be bypassed with 2 clicks from the very beginning. And now we installed it, and let us really cross fingers and see first off if just the port forward like this works. And I will open a new tab and do a local host 8083. Is it /LO at the end? I think so.
Yes, I think you need the full path.
And here we go. Okay.
Fantastic. So in a few clicks, we've installed an operator, a shim, runtime class manager, so we can deploy these spin apps as custom resources and have them orchestrated along with all of our other standard Kubernetes objects and tools.
And if I can just maybe, we can see the hello from spin. All right. So this one is good. But we used like port forward like it was written on the blog post. But like I mentioned just before, there's something that Rancher Desktop also brings by default, and it's the ingress. So if I go back to the preference dialog quickly, here you'll see that we have traffic installed and is a opt-out option. So if you want to bring something like Nginx, for example, also, or another ingress, then you can you just have to disable it here, and then you install and enable your own ingress.
Nice. So it seems like Rancher Desktop is opinionated, but it is configurable. So if you want to swap out ingress, you can do that. If you want to set up deployment profiles, if you're working with a broader team to set up the right set of permissions, all of that's available for you to dig into.
Yeah, thank you very much. So that's the, let's say, what I call the enterprise level settings, but we do have that. It's still and will remain, not still, but will remain for free, because it's an free open source, let's say, project. And then you have exactly what you explained. It's mainly on the Windows side. I won't lie that potentially you might need some integration also with some profiles, some logins, and some like that at the ADFS level. Other than that, then you do have access also to the profiles, so it's maybe easier also for your deployment team, the ones that provide you with the applications and the support team, to actually set something up. And with these deployment profiles, you can actually also directly set the image allow list. We will have a look afterwards. I won't play with it too much, but I can just showcase it later on. But here, quickly, so if I do get ingress, I don't have anything. I prepare the file right now, so it will be the spin app ingress file. Here, what I'm just stating is that I target the simple spin app that we have, and then it will be available on port 80 on our machine. So if I do the kubectl apply -f and then the spin app ingress, it created, and now if I come here again, if I create another, this time instead of going to the port 8083, I will just use localhost and go hello, and here we have spin again. And just clicking, so it kept the zoom, but as you can see, it's now using a normal port, and now it's more near your production, let's say, setup. And that's one thing quickly, and I will finish on that with this demo here. But Rancher Desktop, I explained that on other let's say webinars and all. But think about like a dev or even an operator to some extent, and think about like a person that needs to set up really to develop or to configure something that will be on the production Kubernetes. And thanks to Rancher Desktop, thanks to being K3S, what you can do is really try to get your configurations done, your YAML files done locally, put them on test, your sandbox, whatever, try them, and then finally you reach production. The goal here is to accelerate and to ensure that everything is working fine. The local, as you could see here, you can select your Kubernetes distributions also, versions, sorry, Kubernetes versions based on K3S. This means that you can actually pinpoint what you have in production and see if your application is actually running or if your configuration will be applicable or not, depending on which version you have.
Yes, and hopefully, Peter, that helps address your question. It is managing installs, but as Nuno just explained, it really helps get you closer to your production environment, so you're testing in a way that you feel more confident as you move your application from local to prod. So lots of cool tools in there to help you with that, and now including SpinKube, so you can test your Wasm applications as well.
Yes. So I just have some notes on another screen, so you are not seeing that right now. No, it's okay. You can keep my screen. And yeah, just one point, just so we finish with this demo here. You mentioned something before, which was totally correct. But here I have kubectl and nerdctl available because I'm using the containerd runtime. If you swap to Docker, then you will have Docker available. So here the binary is available, but if I do a Docker info, then it will complain because, well, there's no endpoint, which is true because I'm not running Rancher Desktop as a Docker daemon. I'm running it as containerd daemon. So if I run the nerdctl info, then this one will provide me some information.
And just to hop in, if someone's not familiar with nerdctl, what can I get a brief one-liner as to what it is?
It's Docker for containerd, like the the CLI for containerd. So containerd has its default CLI, which is CRI. I think I'm never using it. So, but then again, the same person who created Lima, remember, so created actually nerdctl. So Akira Suda, still the same. It's part now. It has been given. Is at the sandbox, I think, CNCF project, same as Lima and SpinKube for that matter. So here we are really speaking about CNCF tooling, approved, even not sponsored, but like say applied CNCF licenses and everything. So we are good here, not licensing, but yeah, I don't know the term right now. But yeah, so nerdctl, you can do exactly the same as you will do with Docker. So when you do a Docker run the first time, I'll just where I'm, but you do hello world, for example, just to see if it works. You will do exactly the same with nerdctl. So here you can see it's getting the hello world from the Docker registry directly. Mine's my bandwidth is a bit slow, but yeah. And here you have like the usual hello from Docker. But like the commands that you have in up to compose, I would say, but it's like nerdctl and Docker CLI are almost on par. So whatever you learned, muscle memory with Docker, you might be able to actually replace it with nerdctl when you're targeting directly containerd.
Got it. So an alternative, and then it sounds like we can't have Docker and Rancher Desktop installed simultaneously, but we simply can't use both at the same time because they use the same port.
Yeah, so with Rancher Desktop, it's a choice. So you have to balance between the two. You could eventually run them at the same time. Docker, remember that Docker is itself kind of like a shim to containerd. And containerd was like Docker before, and Docker offered the project as an open source, and it became what it became today, the standard. But even Docker also uses containerd in the backend. But then like here nerdctl like removes this Docker shim, let's say, and goes directly to containerd daemon.
Got it. That makes sense. All right.
Okay, so one last thing that I really like to always do is once you've done, do not do like myself at the very beginning of the stream where I had everything, let's say, crazy and not working. But here, what you can apply, you can also directly delete. So I like to let's say, to clean up behind, and here you can do the same, and like that, everything. Okay, I just have like these two, like one application, one ingress, but right now it's back to normal, and if I do get all again, we will see that we have again just the system. I could do like a reset, but we might have faced some other issues again.
Makes sense. And it sounds like you could either do that through kube-control or through the desktop GUI as well, right? You have CRUD operations supported, so if you wanted to go through and delete from there, that would
Yeah, exactly. Like one last thing then, like you said, we have the cluster dashboard, which is Rancher Manager, actually kind of light version. And from here, you can see the nodes, which is called Lima Rancher Desktop. Can I? Yes, I can. Just a second. This is a remote machine, so sorry if I. But here you can see that this Mac has 64 gigabytes, but here you can only see 6 of them because Lima behind the scenes, like I said, it's a VM, right? So it's running a Linux VM or micro VM actually on top of Mac OS. So for that, it actually reserves some memory. But yeah,
Which is
a
great thing to have in place to make sure it's bounded and it doesn't start eating into other things on your machine.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Lima is again another boundary, but it's also good to remember that it exists, because sometimes if you have a bigger application or something like this that is consuming memory, then you might forget about it.
Another audience question I wanted to highlight here. How do we think about Rancher Desktop versus something like Terraform?
Okay, not the same. Like totally not the same. So Terraform will allow you to do a real deployment, right, of potentially like from applications to inside like Kubernetes and everything, right? So you have really the Terraform. You're terraforming everything. Rancher Desktop is, like you said, opinionated Kubernetes cluster with one node to to this day, right? And that's it. It's just an application. Think about like Docker Desktop if you use that in the past, or MiniCube with some AI, some other plugins or whatever, right? So think about those here like as a cluster, a tool to actually just create a cluster quickly where you can develop your applications to go there. But Terraform will do lots of things that, I mean, they are not even the same tool space. Like one is really like to fully customize and install your own environments, and here is just part of the environment.
For example, you can specify that you need a volume mount when you're working with Rancher Desktop, but like what actually persists that information is like a file system. You wouldn't configure, a remote data store or anything like that. That's where Terraform, or maybe there's I don't know enough, but about Rancher itself, but maybe there's like a Rancher and Terraform story there.
We have some, if I'm not too much mistaken, so we have some documentation. Again, I'm not using it neither. But like Terraform is still on the, let's say, lower part. You might use Terraform and get, at the end of the day, a Rancher cluster running, and not the inverse, as far as I can tell. Again, TechWriter here.
Cool. Hopefully that helps Peter, and Sohan has also generously shared a few cups of coffee for all of us to enjoy.
Nice. All right.
All right.
Close this one. Anyway, just like my Remina. So here, okay, I'm using OpenSUSE Aeon is our immutable distro from OpenSUSE. Is GNOME with paper WM, so that's all the effects here, but I will try to not get too much effect and seasick right now. Here I just want to showcase Rancher Desktop. Okay, forget the size of the display, but again, we have exactly the same. And one thing that I wanted to showcase here is on, yeah, sorry, I have the mouse over setting, but here.
Sorry, if there's any way to bump the font size, that would be great.
Yeah, maybe like this.
Yeah, it's a little bit better. Thanks.
Better? All right,
yeah.
All right, perfect. So here we have virtual machine, and again, like what we saw just before, remember when I went to the cluster dashboard, here we can also see the 6 GB memory, which we can actually use and make up, make down, whatever. And then once you click apply, it will restart Rancher Desktop and Lima itself. You were speaking about volumes, so here is not how you bind them, right? You can use the volumes, but here is more like, okay, what volume with the file system do you want, actually, which protocol kind of. So by default is reverse SSHFS. It's something that is proven, it works. Might be somehow a bit slow. 9P is the same as what we use in WSL. And then there's Vista UFS, which is one of the most known today, I think, and that is really working well in terms of performance also. And then, yeah, as you can see, we have, again, the same here. I'm on latest, not stable. But again, I have the spin operator already deployed. The container engine is on containerd and enabled. And if I do kubectl, like this, kubectl get all, then we will see that we have, again, the cert manager and spin operator. So everything is working fine from here.
Fantastic. So, for example, if we wanted to do some sort of performance testing and play with how our application responds on a lower power node versus a higher power node, that's something we have control over to simulate here with the options you just showed.
Yeah, exactly. So you will see, because remember that K3S is one of the tiniest. Let's say they have like K3S, Kubernetes getting lower, but it's still like quite a big footprint. We have K0S from Kubernetes and potentially others that are getting into these, not the edge per se, but like these very small resources endpoints. So K3S is kind of perfect for that. And if your, let's say, your endpoint has indeed like two or only, look, even only two, then you know that it will be like K3S plus maybe one app top. But then you can see how much your app is consuming at the end of the day.
Fantastic.
Definitely, it's something that you can think of as a usage, let's say. So here, let's go back to Spin then, second demo. The third one is a bit more challenging, so we might need the help from the crowd. But the second demo, I went ahead and you had another. It was not a blog post this time, but if I go to spinkube.dev and then I go to the blogs actually, and I have like the introducing SpinKube. Here it states what SpinKube is, why the choices of creating SpinKube, what was the mindset and everything. Again, not really a dev, so I'll let that to the others. What was important for me, it was like, okay, so not a dev, but still sometimes, like I said, in terms of a tech writer, for example, I will need to document the code that the dev teams will provide. So here I saw that you had like a nice demo with something now that we will be using the Spin CLI directly, the Spin binary, and not only SpinKube. So we will try to make it like the first time, see what it does. It will be until here, around here, and then see how you deploy it actually to SpinKube, and why now the two Rancher Desktop plus SpinKube deployed so fast with just a couple clicks on the Rancher Desktop side, and now on SpinKube being deployed, how you can deploy your applications, your WebAssembly applications to Kubernetes, and everything should work automatically.
Awesome. So to summarize, we're going to explore a little bit the separation of concerns we get from Spin, which is our developer tool for writing and composing WebAssembly applications, which, if you're not familiar, standardized bytecode format built for the web originally. Now that we're here at Fermyon, we're bringing it server side for benefits like portability, super fast cold starts, all of that great stuff. And Spin is the tool that we're recommending developers use to try it out, write applications, write these serverless functions. And on the platform engineer side, SpinKube is a set of tools to help you run those applications on your Kubernetes cluster natively as custom resources. So we're going to take a look at what that might look like in practice.
Yes. So remember, not a dev. So let me see where I am. No, I don't want to be in Spin. I want to be here. Perfect. So let me just copy it. Okay. This has created a new directory here. And inside we have really small things. Again, like you said, maybe the best will be to send it to a code editor. Here we go, and I can even make it a bit bigger here. And here we have like definitions. So created the package, recognized me, thank you. And then at the Spin level, this is for more, I guess, for the WASI itself and how to build it. So here the important part is here. We target a specific infrastructure behind, which is Wasm, or I don't know if it's infrastructure or maybe another. Does it have another name in Rust? I don't know.
Just the runtime. So
Runtime.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the build command, and yeah, above. So this is something the application developer would interact with. They define their trigger, which has been done automatically by the CLI. We're looking at an HTTP event, and then yeah, below you're exploring the component, which includes build instructions. Wasm has a really strong security model where everything is locked down by default. So you can see there on like line 15, if you wanted to allow outbound connections, you'd actually have to go ahead and grant that permission to the component. Otherwise, those requests are going to fail. So just an example of what the developer is thinking about as they're building and testing their application locally.
Wow. Okay. And yeah, and then of course, who says source says what it is here. So here I saw like we have hello Fermyon. I will just add ourselves.
Nice.
So that's as much as I code is just looking for the text, the plain text, and I can try to edit that. All right. Once we are happy with it, then I think it was like the spin builds. Perfect. So again, remember, let me see here if I do. Yeah. By default, so on Mac it will be another pass, on Windows it will be yet another pass, but we have on your home directory, you'll have this .rd, which is Rancher Desktop, and then you will have the binaries in it. So kubectl, so if I just quickly do something like this, so you know, forget the links for now, but everyone has like Docker buildx because it's the, let's say, the default nowadays to build containers, which is really great. We have Docker Compose also, the V2 one. We have the ECR login, which was kind of, I think it has been decommissioned, I'm not sure. And now it's another tool that is doing it. And then we have Helm, the package manager for Kubernetes, kubectl. kuberLR has been created by someone working currently at SUSE, and it will match your, the kubectl will match your cluster running. So if, let's say, if you have kubectl latest, like the binary latest version, but you are now targeting a cluster that is in 124, I don't know, and your kubectl was 129, then kuberLR will do is like it will actually download the kubectl 124, and it will be using that to match exactly the cluster. So you know, like the calls that kubectl does towards the server will actually match what the server supports. And that's quite nice. And then rdctl. rdctl, I didn't touch base too much. We'll see if we have time, but it's the control of Rancher Desktop, and we can do some things that are really nice, but it's a bit outside today's scope. And then we have spin, like I said. So now I do the spin build. It will run what I saw in the spin.toml. So it's running the same command that I saw here. So that's the command to do.
Yes, and putting on my application developer hat while this is building, we also, if you see, there's a watch command on line 18. So if you wanted to make more changes to your application and iterate locally, you can run spin watch, and it'll dynamically build, and you can see those changes real time rather than having to run spin build every single time. So one of the nice features of spin for local development.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it completed. So right now, Kenzie, can I just run maybe a command before I run to SpinKube? How can I test what I've built?
You can run spin up, so that will run it locally.
Okay, and let me see if I have a browser somewhere. Hey,
Woohoo!
first time.
There we go. And someone's got the pro tip down below that I actually didn't know. You can run, spin B for spin build. Save yourself 4 characters.
All right, yeah, but no, that's okay. I like to be verbose. That's the tech writer in me, but I like to be verbose.
That's funny.
Alrighty. So once we saw that it's working and the spin up came back clean, yeah, of course, here. So now we can go here, and here is something that I started to see recently, but I think you are using it massively, which I love, which is the usage of ttl.sh, which is a temporary OCI container registry. And so here what we will do is 2 things. So first, I will just set a variable to state that I want to push to TTL, or my registry and container name will be this here. So UUID generate it will provide you like a long string, so you are sure that it's only yours, let's say. And then the tag here tells you how long the image should stay up on ttl.sh. And like I said, it's a temporary one. I never really used it, but I think for demos purpose, especially when other registries, and I'm not speaking only about Docker here, but might have some what do you say, limits, capping. So it's always nice to be able to just quickly iterate that. And here, if I remember correctly, I will do a spin push, or
Yes.
registry push. Yeah, registry push, and then my image name. Let me just have a look quickly.
Because the way TTL works, right, is if it has the same name, it's going to overwrite whatever existed in the registry, correct?
Yeah, I guess there's almost no check on ttl.sh which image is just pointing there. So now that I have that, we can scaffold, and here is sorry, I'll stop the C motion right now. So here, what I like is maybe to do in one line, but I will just run this one first. Let me copy it. So I will do this one here first. And what it does, the scaffold, is actually preparing ourselves, or give us the YAML manifest for deploying our spin app inside SpinKube. One thing that can be nice, here I see replica tools. For the sake of, let's say, the demo, what I saw is that we can have something called replicas, and I can set it to 1. I can try it out, and now the replica here is just set to 1, which is really nice.
Yes. Saving some time from having to edit YAML, which is great. And just an example of a clean handoff from application developer to platform engineer, where if you don't want to be battling the CRD, you can just run a command and it'll be automatically generated for you.
Yeah, I really like the scaffold always, because I might know how to read it, but sometimes I might not know how to build like a proper YAML manifest for a specific target. Like here is spin up, and others might be ingress and so on, right? So here is always nice to have like the tool providing the base, and then if I need to adapt it, then I might. And here what I do is, like, instead of putting it into a file, I will just pipe it through kubectl apply, and this creates it. And if I do kubectl get pods only, we can see that the container is creating and it's already running. So now we have that, which is great. And then now the thing is like, I don't remember how to access it once it's on there. So let me just get all for now. And I can see that I have a service also. So let us port forward for the time being. So you understood that I could use ingress again, but maybe some more preparations. So now I could do kubectl. I never know what is the port forward.
I might have to look it up too, or
Yeah,
audience members. Who's
it's
got
okay,
port
it's
forward?
okay. Port forward is there. Control V, Shift E, and then let me. The other was 3000, so I will put it in 3005. Why not? Okay. And now if I go back here, so 3000 should no more be up because I canceled it. Perfect.
Nice.
And if I go to 3005, however, I should have it. Here we go.
Ooh. So we have our spin app running on our cluster, managed and discoverable with all those great options from Rancher Desktop.
Yeah. And here, if I come back to Rancher Desktop now, I can normally go to kates.io. And here you can see all the images that are downloaded. And normally, so here we have all our spins and everything. And let me see if we have some TTL. Here we go. So we have some TTL. And then we don't see the time, so I should need to see. Okay, let me quickly cancel it here. Cancel it here. Echo $image. So you are free to kill my image on TTL if you want. That's okay. Do we have a or a 47? No. Yeah, I don't know which one it represents. 6B. Oh, here we go. This one.
Nice.
This one. So it will represent this one. So let me refresh it here. Oh yeah, because I killed the port forward. Yeah, okay. Let me just run up the port forward. Sorry, I'm just showing like how it integrates everything together. So I will run the port forward again. I will reload it. It's here. But it's already running. So if I delete it here, it doesn't make much sense actually, because it's just the image. It's not the okay. I wanted to do something, but yeah, forget that. And if I do the containers, if I run TTL here, so that's the one running right now, and I can try to stop it, but the deployment might reactivate it. Okay, so does it do something here?
Let's see. So that's the pod running our custom spin application.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, anyway, so that was just some testing, but again, you can start playing with everything.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great showcase of how we've gone from local development, building, running our application, deploying to our Kubernetes cluster, and then being able to easily see the image, the status, all of that good stuff, using the GUI that Rancher Desktop provides.
Yeah. So if I do just, oh no, I can delete it here. But yeah, it doesn't do anything. So I don't know if it's cached or, oh no, okay, it was cached. Perfect. Okay. So once I stopped it, it canceled. So that was the right one. And once I deleted it, then it started the new one. So potentially, if I go again,
K3S is working hard.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah, it's okay, it's okay. So I was playing a bit, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that was the second demo. So the second demo was really about like how, not the dev still, but how I can go up just one bit where I do have my Spin CLI available to me. I can build what you provided to me actually as a dev, run it locally, and then put it on my Rancher Desktop Kubernetes cluster. And again, it's like the steps are coming back again and again. So it's SpinKube deploy here, spin build first, and so on. So I really like that. So that's where we are. We have 5 more minutes or a bit more. I don't remember.
Just 5 more minutes. Yeah, you're correct.
All right. So the challenge for everyone in the attendance, you included, because I didn't saw the docs about it. Common friends of us created this here, named Thorsten. Right? And here, what he created was that I can build this application. So it's a cache. As you can see, I already pre-built it. So it's enterprise cache for the APIs. So the goal here is to see if we can. Oops. Where it goes quickly. I lose my notes. Okay, here we go. Okay, all right. Okay, doesn't like the double click on the notes thingy.
And while you're looking for it, just showcasing the link down there, we have a set of enterprise architectures and patterns. So this is what we're using right now. But if you're interested, it has a bunch of great examples from, the transparent cache to PubSub, lots of good load testing. So a great repo to explore.
So now, like I said, challenge time, because I went a bit too fast here. No, I did a spin up. So normally, doom.
That should be good.
Oh, no. It's normal. Okay, sorry. It's normal. It's not good. We have items. Here we go. And let's do the pretty print. Here we go. So what this application does then is, like, if you, again, not the dev, so not really sure here, so correct me whenever. But here is like, if you want to try some API calling and how to build something like your API to see the fields and everything, you can just use this application. It comes with a Postgres SQL. You can see it here quickly. It has this migrations SQL here. File inside the same directory. It was here. You can see it here. Migration here. This one is just like a template that will populate 2 entries, which are these ones here. And again, the demo is just like, if you want to go play, you can. So if I copy just the ID, and this time I go just for this ID, so I will just have the blueberries here. Okay.
Yep.
One thing that I didn't know, but I used, is that I installed. Let me see if I see. Yeah, I installed something called REST client. So let me just add a new file, demo rest.txt. We don't really care. And what I just want to do is put just one thing here, because we're almost done. Control C, and go here, Control V. And what these one do is I think it's Control Alt R. Yes. Okay. So now, if I refresh it here, it will be bananas. Okay. So
Nice.
what I did for again the non-devs like me, so this REST client allows you to use REST calls. So I'm putting towards my application here, and then I set the content type and what I want to change, and that was it. Just to
And
finish, yeah.
just while you're there, if you mind
Oh
scooting
yeah,
back
sorry.
over and cracking open the spin.toml, the application manifest right below that, you can see that we provide a, I believe it should be in here, a key value store.
Yeah.
It should be somewhere in there. Yeah, so Spin automatically sets that up for you so you don't have to worry about that. That migration SQL file you're exploring basically just takes a bunch of data, imports it, so you can immediately start iterating and doing that testing like you just demonstrated without having to worry about the infra setup yourself.
And that's a very good segue then, the why challenge. So I would like to see someone, it won't be me, but I would like to see someone, again, Kenzie put the link, to put that on SpinKube. Because I tried like, if you go through the documentation, okay, I don't have it here, but it will go through the how do you say, the cloud. So if I do a Spin Cloud login, and I can deploy now my application, Spin Cloud login, again, Spin with the tool that we have right now, right? So I can copy this part here, and I can go there. Yes, no, yes, okay.
Yes, and just to share with people, this is Fermyon Cloud. So we've been talking a lot about Kubernetes, SpinKube, Rancher Desktop, which is great if you want to set up and maintain your own infrastructure. But if you're looking for a fully managed environment, we do have a serverless platform that you can deploy these apps without having to worry about orchestration, any of that infrastructure set up. And it's just a really quick way to test and run Spin applications.
Yeah. And so once this is done, I can finally do the Spin deploy. So now I'm publishing my tool or my application to the Fermyon cloud. And that's here what Candy was saying about like key store value. And remember, there's also a Postgres SQL behind. So when you go to Fermyon clouds, it's provided to you. Okay, so I will be the compassionate crocodile. Why not? I like the name actually. Oh, but my account is only limited to one database. I don't know if I have some Fermyon friends that could help with that, but anyway, so you can publish your application, and once you are on Fermyon, then you will be able to use it also, and your colleagues also. So again, Fermyon Cloud now, I guess you have some, let's say, permissions and everything, but by default, if I don't touch anything, it will be open.
Yes, correct. We have a really generous free tier that includes all of the resources that Fermyon Cloud has to offer, some quota limits as you just explored, but it's really easy to get started and test your applications, deploy them, run them at scale.
Okay, but then I tried to put it on SpinKube, but of course there was some pieces here and there missing. So challenge for whomever wants. If I meet you someday, I will provide you chocolates if you're rich with it. But it will be to put the same app inside SpinKube and show Torsten that you did it before him, and I will be proud.
Yes, please do that. Share it with us in Discord and tag us. And it sounds like Nuno will have some chocolate heading your way.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, I think that puts us right at time. Nuno, thank you so much for preparing those demos and helping teach us a little bit about Rancher Desktop. It's been a really great time.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it, and I hope it was helpful for the audience.
Yes, audience, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week, everyone.